Hi everyone. So we're going to just do a quick beginner talk through some poses and really focus on alignment. Alignment is one of the most important parts of your accurate yoga practice. Yoga can be incredibly good for the body and healing in so many ways when it's practiced correctly. So be sure, especially when you're taking online classes, that you're taking classes through somebody who is certified, who has studied it, and really understands the importance of alignment in the yoga practice so that you're actually helping your body, not hurting your body. So we're going to just do a couple poses today, and we're going to break down the alignment. All these little bits and pieces that are important in being in the pose accurately. And it doesn't mean you need to do every one of these every time. You're going to build up to that. But this gives you an idea of where you're heading and how to get there. So let's start at the front of our mats. So let's do Baddha Konasana. Bring the soles of the feet together and pull them in as close as you can to the body. The piece of alignment that's really important in this pose is the back. So quite often when we come into any seated pose, we typically naturally will come in rounded like this. You always want to lift that spine up and extend it nice and tall. And then you can actually take the shoulders and roll them up and down the back. And that's going to create an opening across the chest and the heart. So you can stay here like this with the legs falling open with that beautiful extended spine. Or if you want to go deeper, you can lead with your heart. Keep that straight spine as you extend forward. So typically here you see in a lot of videos, people are rounding to come forward to get into those hips. But you never want to sacrifice one part of the body for another part. So more importantly than getting deeper in these hips is keeping that spine long and extended. So we're just going to keep lifting, and if you have space, you can get lower. But it's all about that beautiful straight back. We're never rounding. We're always extending here. So let's be here for a few breaths. And as you stay in the pose, keep that spine lengthening. Naturally, we'll relax and we'll round. Keep extending. And you'll find that the body creates space. And as the body creates space, you can move deeper into that space. One more breath here. And then on the inhale, we're going to inhale, we're going to lift back up, and we're going to use that core. So this core is engaged as it's lifting. It's supporting the lumbar spine. So we're not putting all of our weight into our back and depending on our back to lift us up. Use that core. So we're going to come now into a tabletop position. So almost in any of the poses that you do in yoga, you want your wrists directly under those shoulders, and those wrists and those hands are going to be shoulder distance apart. The same thing with the knees. Those knees are right under those hips, hip width distance apart. And you're always extending and lifting. So even here, you're going to lift up. So you're not dropping any of these shoulders. You're really lifting up tall. And you're opening those shoulders up. So if we were to move through a few rounds of cat and cow, on an inhale, the first thing that you want to do is actually inhale, lengthen the spine forward. So we're not going to lift right up because we're dropping then into that lower back. We're extending forward, we're creating length, and then we are lifting. And then let's stay here for one breath. And on the exhale, we're going to exhale and we're going to come. And this is one of the times you can round, and you round into the mid-upper back. Keeping those shoulders over those wrists. Stay here for a breath. Then that next inhale, come back to neutral before you extend forward, and then lift up. And then that exhale rounds into that upper mid-back. So let's move through 2 more rounds. Use your own breath here. Beautiful. Back to the neutral spine. And we're going to prepare to lift into a downward facing dog. So when these hands are on the mat, we want palms flat. We want the center of the palm to be pressed into the mat. We want these middle fingers to be pointing directly forward. Fingers are spread wide and evenly spaced between them. So with these rooted hands, we're going to tuck the toes under and we're going to lift the hips up. And before you do anything with the legs, pay attention to those arms. Those arms were your first base here. So as you press into the mat, you're going to extend the spine behind you. Typically when you start in yoga, you don't understand how to shift the weight back. And quite often you'll see people in downward facing dog like this, sometimes even like this. So the weight's in the shoulders now. And you're more, it's a lot harder in one way, but you're not focusing on lengthening the spine. So you want to shift the weight back and you want to press through so there's a straight line of energy that comes through the wrist, through the shoulder, all the way out the tailbone here. A nice, light, long, straight back. You're going to open those shoulders a little bit, just like we did. Going to drop the neck. And you're not going to drop down here below the shoulders. There's engagement in those shoulders. As you press into the mat, you can release the neck here. But as you keep this long spine, you also want to activate your legs. So it's a really subtle movement. On an inhale, you're going to lift the sit bones up. So you can probably barely tell I'm doing it in this video, but that's really key here. Lift the sit bones up and then extend the heels down. And you're going to feel those legs work when you do this with them. So keeping that extended spine, those lifted sit bones, and those extended heels, the body is fully engaged here and it is supported. So let's stay here for 2 breaths. And we're going to move into a high lunge. So on an inhale, we're going to inhale left leg up. Whenever you inhale, you really want to focus on keeping the hips in line. So you're not going to raise super high and extend it over, anything like that. You're going to rotate the toes down, keep those hips in line. On the inhale, slow and controlled, if you can, you're going to inhale forward first, and then you're going to set that foot down. Before you even lift up here, you got to work on that alignment. So you're going to make sure that knee is directly over the ankle. You're extending through the back heel here, so you're not twisting this foot down either way. You're really extending, pressing through the heel. Open those shoulders up. You can stay here if you want. Or if you have that grounded, steady base on an inhale, you can inhale, lift the arms. Once those arms are lifted, sometimes these hips come out of center here. So what you want to do is you want to take this right hip, shift it forward. So don't let it fall open here. Shift that hip forward, keep them in line, nice and engaged. The knees still over the ankle. Lift those arms, open the shoulders. Nice, steady breath. One more breath here. The exhale releases the hands down. The legs are staying the same as the hands come down towards the earth. Root the palms first, and we're going to step right back into that downward facing dog. So those fingers are nice and wide. Middle fingers are pointed forward. Shoulders are open. We're extending all the way through the spine. We're lifting the sit bones. We're extending those heels. The heels and the calves down towards the earth. Few breaths here. And we're going to do the other side. So inhale that right leg up. Toes are pointed down, hips are in line. On the inhale, we're bringing that knee forward. Bring it in tight first. Then set that foot down. Get that solid and steady base before you lift up. Knee right over the ankle. Press through the back foot. Press through the heel of that left foot here. When you're ready on an inhale, inhale those arms up. Make sure these hips are in line so we're not twisting here. We're strong in those hips, nice and even. And those shoulders are rolled down the back. Nice, steady breath. One more breath here. The exhale, legs stay the same as we exhale those hands down. Step right foot back towards the left. Come back into that downward facing dog. Same thing. All those cues. Fingers are pressed into the mat. Those palms are flat. We're pressing all the way through those arms, through the spine, out the sit bones that are lifting towards the sky as those heels come towards the earth. One more breath. And the exhale brings the knees out wide here and the toes to touch. So we're going to come into a child's pose. So we're going to bring those sit bones towards the heels. And depending on how open those hips are, some of you guys might be floating up. Some of you might be able to reach all the way down. And we're going to walk those hands out and we're going to extend the spine as the forehead or the third eye sits on the mat here. With a nice steady breath. And then next inhale is going to inhale, lift up. We're going to bring those legs in front of us. And I think that's going to be enough for this one. We'll do a lot more videos and we're going to really break down different poses and figure out what is the accurate alignment so that we can be accurate in our body as we practice and move more towards advancing our yoga flows. So I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching.